Weren't those scenes beautiful? Wish I could fly like that. Those drones are pretty good, aren't they? You probably wish you could fly like that too. But one thing you can do, and that's joining us right now. So, good morning. I'm Adam Morgan, and welcome to the 33rd annual Salute Yeah to Seniors, brought to you by the Colorado Gerontological Society. The Salute is an opportunity for you, our viewers, to learn a lot more about the issues of interest and concern to older adults, have some fun, and win yourself some prizes. I can't win any prizes, but you. Now, we know that some of you would love to join us in person, and we would love to have you. But with the current increase in COVID-19 variants, out of extreme caution, we're coming to you for the third year in a row virtually. By coming virtually, we can share our message with you, regardless of where you are in the world. So today, we're bringing you a combination of educational programs, an opportunity to try your hand at some online trivia, and some great entertainment. Now, as we start today, we want to thank the Board of Directors for their continued support of the work of the Society. In addition, we want to thank the staff of the Colorado Gerontological Society, Lena Wilson, who supported Howard Dult, the project manager. Now, the Society offers a range of programs for older adults, including grants for vision, hearing, and dental services, advanced care planning, telephone buddies, Medicare, Medicaid counseling and referral on older adult issues. In addition, the Society provides education and training on a variety of aging issues, including training for assisted living administrators for aging in place and advocating legislation that benefits older adults and their families. Now, I have to tell you about a place you've got to come by and check out, and that's our resources on the portal. Drive by the Colorado Gerontological Society at 1129 Pennsylvania Street here in Denver today or tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and pick up applications, resources, and other goods. Stop in the driveway, walk on up to the front porch, and grab the items of interest. Some of those major items that are available to you include the Colorado Senior Resource Guidebook. I mean, it's great, that guidebook. I've filled out a couple of them. Health Insurance Toolkit, Medication Disposable Kits, information on society programs, the Tabor Tax Refund Information, Affordable Housing Income Tax Refund for Seniors information on Medicare Monday, and a lot more. So, now, let us begin. Our title sponsor for this 33rd annual Salute to Seniors is Cigna. Cigna offers a range of health insurance products for older adults, including Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare supplements, and prescription drug coverage. Here is a short message on the insurance products they offer older adults who receive Medicare.
We know understanding Medicare can feel overwhelming. So we're here to help answer the most common questions, starting with the basics, such as, what is Medicare? What are your options? And when and how can you decide on the Medicare plan that's right for you? First, a bit of background. Medicare is government-sponsored health insurance for people 65 and older. It's also for those under age 65 who have a qualifying disability. Medicare is funded through your federal taxes. Once you're eligible to receive Medicare, the federal government deducts money from your monthly Social Security benefit. This, plus what you pay while you're working, funds your Medicare coverage. Understanding the different parts of Medicare will help you determine your options and what's right for you. Original Medicare has two parts. Part A covers expenses for hospital visits, hospice care, and some home health care. And once you turn 65, you'll likely be automatically enrolled. Part B covers 80% of most medically necessary doctor services, outpatient treatments, certain medications, medical supplies, and durable medical equipment after your annual Part B deductible is met. If you enroll in Part B, you'll pay a monthly premium based on your income. You can apply by contacting your local Social Security office. Once you enroll in Original Medicare, you can add Medicare Supplement Insurance. It's an optional policy offered by private insurers that helps pay for what Original Medicare doesn't cover. This includes out-of-pocket costs such as certain copays, coinsurance and deductibles. You can also add prescription drug coverage, or Part D. This helps cover the cost of certain prescriptions, so it's important to know if any medications you're taking are covered. This plan is optional and offered by private insurance companies. If you choose a prescription drug plan, you'll want to enroll as soon as you're eligible because late penalties can be pricey. You also have another choice, a Medicare Advantage plan, also known as Part C. This is an all-in-one plan that offers the same coverage as original Medicare, plus added benefits that may include prescription drug, dental, and vision coverage, as well as hearing services and fitness programs. When it comes to enrolling in Medicare, your first opportunity begins 3 months before your 65th birthday and continues for 3 months after your birthday month. This is called the initial enrollment period. Each year, the annual enrollment period begins October 15th and ends December 7th. This is your chance to enroll in, switch to, or drop a Medicare Advantage plan. Immediately after, on December 8th, the lock-in period begins and runs through October 14th. During this time, you may return to original Medicare, but cannot switch to Medicare Advantage unless open enrollment has begun. The open enrollment period starts January 1st and ends on March 31st. During this time, you can make a one-time switch to disenroll from your Medicare Advantage plan, switch to another plan, or return to original Medicare. There is also a Medicare Supplement open enrollment period. This lasts for 6 months and begins on the first day of the month you turn 65 or older. You must also be enrolled in Medicare Part B. During this time, insurance companies cannot refuse you a plan or charge you more based on your health. You may also qualify for special enrollment periods throughout the year for certain qualifying events such as moving, losing employer coverage, receiving Medicaid benefits, or other reasons. All Medicare recipients have certain rights. So if you have questions, contact the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services or your state Department of Insurance. You can also reach out directly to your insurance provider. There is a lot of information out there to help you decide on the best Medicare plan for you. Medicare.gov is a great place to start. You can also call 1-800-MEDICARE 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Ready to speak with a licensed insurance agent? We're here to help you feel empowered, informed, and confident. Call 855-206-5170 or visit ExploreCignamMedicare.com. Thank you for your time. We hope this presentation helped answer your questions about Medicare.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Lieutenant Governor of Colorado, Ms. Diane Primavera. Diane Primavera is a leading patient advocate, and she's a cancer survivor who has spent many decades fighting for every Coloradan's access to quality, affordable health care. Beginning in 2006, Diane served 4 terms in the state legislature, where her bipartisan work promoted Colorado's small businesses, lowered prescription drug costs, and expanded access to affordable health care. As the Lieutenant Governor, Diane leads 6 programs, including the Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare, the Office of eHealth Innovation, the Colorado Disability Funding Commission and Disability Policy, the Colorado Commission of Indian Affairs, Serve Colorado, and Aerospace and Defense. The Lieutenant Governor has been a longtime supporter of issues that affect older adults. She carried a bill that created the Strategic Action Plan on Aging. And through hundreds of hours of work with Colorado older adults and advocates, Colorado now has a master plan on aging. Please help me welcome our Lieutenant Governor, Diane Primavera.
Hello, my name is Diane Primavera, and thank you all for allowing me to share a few words with you today. As an older adult myself, supporting Coloradoans as they age is a top priority for me. And in my role as Lieutenant Governor and Director of the Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare, I work every day to do just that. Having access to quality, affordable healthcare is important throughout a person's life, as it can both support day-to-day wellness and provide valuable preventative care. Health can continue to become more important as we age, and unfortunately, it can also become more costly. Approximately 80% of adults aged 65 and over are living with chronic conditions, and 95% of overall healthcare spending comes from this particular age group. This past legislative session, and over these last 4 years, we've worked to save you money. We're working to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. We capped the cost of insulin for Coloradans with diabetes, and we've increased hospital transparency. We've also passed the historic Colorado option and reinsurance programs and protected the consumer's right to repair powered wheelchairs. Additionally, we are exempting seniors' Social Security earnings from state income tax and are providing low and middle income seniors who don't qualify for the homestead property tax exemption up to $1,000 each by creating a refundable income tax credit on the 2022 tax return. Beyond our efforts to cut costs, we are preparing to support Colorado's aging population. From 2020 to 2050, the Colorado State Demographer estimates that adults 65 and older will nearly double in population, from roughly 876,000 to more than 1.6 million people. With Colorado being the 9th healthiest state in the country, we are expecting this group to continue to be highly active and involved in the community, and we will continue to look for ways to support our aging population on both the state and local level. With the passage of House Bill 22-1035, the Older Coloradans Act, we are working with local partners to prepare the state's infrastructure for an increasing older population of Coloradoans, and to take a robust and comprehensive view of aging across the lifespan with a key focus on later life. Lifelong Colorado is the collection of state, regional, and local strategies that will support older Coloradoans, their families, and our communities as our demographics shift. It is not one singular element, but instead a comprehensive approach that includes regional transit planning, local public health assessments, and community planning. It then connects those dots by bringing local and regional efforts into State Department planning. Many of the goals and strategies we seek to operationalize throughout Lifelong Colorado were laid out by the Strategic Action Planning Group on Aging, and now they will be carried forward by the Colorado Commission on Aging and other key partners across the state. The Colorado Gerontological Society and many of the organizations you all represent will be important partners in that work. We have a tremendous opportunity ahead of us, and we will all have a role to play in this. Providers, advocates, private industry, nonprofit leaders, and representatives of local and state government. Sometimes we may disagree on which puzzle piece to lay down next and how to do it, but each of us has an important piece. So as I wrap up, I want to urge seniors, if they haven't already, to submit their 2021 income tax report so that they can receive the Colorado cash back. This is a $750 refund for individual filers and $1,500 for joint filers, and is designed to get this money into the pockets of Coloradoans ahead of schedule, which can be critical for seniors living on fixed incomes. I would also like to take a moment to thank all of the healthcare providers that have tuned in today that continue to serve our senior community and keep us well. Your work is imperative and makes a difference every day, and we appreciate you. And to the many seniors on the call, I know these last few years have been difficult, and we are still trying to find the balance between physical safety and connection with our community and the people that bring us joy. So as we enter this space, I encourage you to think of ways you can share your time and talents to make a difference close to home. So thank you for your time today. May you be well and enjoy all that life has to offer.
Next, we're going to learn more about redefining retirement. You know, baby boomers, and some of us born between 1946 and 1964, as the largest cohort, many of us are having access to the wealth of our parents. redefining social norms, leading a healthy lifestyle, focusing on global economy, and a lot of other things. Older adults have entered retirement with a new definition. Retirement is now seen as 10, 20, 30, or even longer periods of time for us. For some, it may even represent a third of their lives. Baby boomers have continued to be employed. Some have retired and then rejoined the workforce again. Others are spending much of their time engaged with community and working to improve the lives of others, working on climate change, social justice, and other issues. Baby boomers are also redefining the supports and services that are necessary in the later years. Experts from the American Society on Aging in San Francisco now join us to share their insights. They are Jen Rivera, the Director of Membership Engagement, and with her is Dr. Leanne Clark Shirley, the Vice President of Programs and Thought Leadership.
Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I am Jen Rivera, Director of Membership Engagement, and I am joined today by Dr. Leanne Clark Shirley, Vice President of Programs and Thought Leadership. We are with the American Society on Aging, ASA, and here we are to chat about building an age-inclusive society. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by highlighting a couple of important dates in ASA's timeline. Over 60 years ago, the American Society on Aging started as the Western Gerontological Society, WGS. In 1976, the first issue of Generations was released as WGS Quarterly Newsletter. One of its first themes was minorities and aging. ASA has always recognized the need for inclusive content. We know that aging can look different based on your race, gender, or socioeconomic status. By 1977, WGS annual conference reaches 2,500 attendees. In 1985, WGS changes its name to the American Society on Aging to expand their work to the nation. Between 1985 and today, many resources, programs, and partnerships were and continue to be developed to position ASA as the go-to source to cultivate leadership, advance knowledge, and strengthen the skills of our members and others who work with and on behalf of older adults. ASA is a member-driven organization that provides the space to unite, empower, and champion everyone striving to improve aging. ASA unites members by offering everyone an aging platform to network, share ideas, and innovate together. We are empowering members with trusted educational resources in aging that offer year-round programming. And together, we advocate for the 21st century aging policies at the state and federal level. Our 5 strategic priorities frame our work: ageism and culture, economic security, innovation and social impact, health and well-being, which is our conference theme this year, and equity and justice. ASA's programs are designed to promote actionable change in each of these areas, individually and as they intersect. So now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Leanne Clark Shirley to share ASA's vision for an age-inclusive society.
Thank you so much, Jen. As we're looking back on ASA's own path as a membership society, it really follows along with how our nation's society has been changing too and continues to change. I've spent over 20 years now, working in the field of aging as a gerontologist. And so I'd like to take a few minutes to share with you a few things that we know in gerontology, as well as some ideas that I have about the notion of age inclusivity and what ASA is doing to promote that. There are 3 things that I hope you take away from what I'm about to say, if nothing else. 1, that we are living in an aging society, yet also an ageist society. 2, that ageism causes real harm. But 3, there are things that we can all do together to build an age-inclusive society. So let me start with the first one. We are an aging society. We have experienced historic gains in longevity over the past century. You may have heard the statistic. For the first time in history, the number of people 60 and older already outnumbers young children globally. And here in the US, as you can see on this chart, this will be true in 2034. In less than 12 years, there will be more people age 65 and older than under age 18. In the US, this is largely because of the aging of the baby boom cohort, coupled with things like advances in healthcare. But it will not stop with the baby boomers. Population aging is going to be an American and global experience, at least through the end of this century. And as our society ages, we are becoming more diverse, racially, ethnically, culturally. What aging looks like here in America is changing. And it's not just happening at a population level like you can see on the screen. Think of it this way. Behind every point on this graph, every point in these bar graphs, there's individuals. And when who we are as we age and who we are as we become old, that's shaped by the experiences that we have had throughout our lives. That's shaped by where we were born, where we grew up, where we spent our adulthood, what we've done for work, who we've met, who we'll continue to meet in the future, what we're exposed to in the places that we live and work, both good and bad, socially and environmentally. Who we are as we age is shaped by how, if and how we've encountered racism or homophobia, religious persecution, gender-based discrimination. All of these things play a role in how we age and who we become when we are old. Some of us will fare better than others. For instance, men tend to have significantly more financial resources at retirement compared to women. Too many older women of color face very serious health challenges that white women just do not because of racism in medicine. And there are far too many older people who identify as LGBTQ+, who face having to go back into the closet because of homophobia in long-term care, having their very identity stripped away from them. How we age is shaped by what happens throughout our lives. But when you think about how we as a society talk about aging today, still, despite all of this diversity that we know, we still use terms like the elderly, which has a sense of dependency baked right into it. We still talk about the 50 plus or the 65 plus, like is on this chart, even the statistics you see right here. But, it occurs to me there are almost 100,000 centenarians living in the US today. Those are people that are 100 years old. And by the way, that number is going to double in the next 20 years. But we're lumping in 100-year-olds with 65-year-olds when we talk about the 65 plus. That's like lumping 10-year-olds and 45-year-olds together and talking about them as if they're one group, as if they're the same. I'm being a little bit dramatic here, but I think the point is valid. We don't become more similar as we age. We become more diverse and different. But that's not the story that's commonly told. You can think about things that happen. Sure, our bodies change. Our roles in our families change, and that might be similar, to what's happening with our friends or other people that we know. We experience disease, we experience disability, our work changes, but none of this happens in the same way or at the same time or at the same rate for this group of people 65 to 100, and it may never happen at all. But we talk about aging as if on the morning of your 65th birthday, you suddenly wake up and you're just like the person down the street who turned 85 that day. And you need and you want the same things as that person. And worse, I think, we hear about aging all the time as a time of decline and loss, and youth is held up as a standard of beauty. Older faces, older voices are discounted or ignored altogether from conversations. But the truth is we make gains in happiness. We make gains in resilience. We build new businesses even as we grow older and become old. And worse yet, older people are discriminated against in workplaces, in our own medical system, and in daily encounters that we have in the world. And maybe worst of all, we discriminate against our older selves. We internalize this. This is ageism. And too many of us, by virtue of living in an ageist society, perpetuate and internalize ageism. You can see the definitions of ageism on the screen, coined by two leaders in the field. I love Maggie Kuhn, her definition. She's an activist. Ageism is the notion that people become inferior because they have lived a specific number of years. Ageism is harmful, and it costs us money, and it costs us our health. I want to share with you a couple bits of information. According to AARP's Longevity Economy Report, if you haven't looked at that, you should. Because of discrimination at work, and especially because of involuntary retirement or being forced to retire sooner than you would have because of age discrimination, because of those things, we lost out on $850 billion to the gross domestic product in 2018. Put differently, in other words, the economy could have been 4% larger if workers did not experience barriers to working longer. 4% larger. Anti-aging creams, pills, and procedures, that's a $50 billion industry globally, and it carries with it serious risks. In our country, 1 out of every $7 spent in healthcare among older people is due to ageism. That's because ageism in medicine leads to denial of treatment options, mismanaged pain, underdiagnosis of conditions like depression and substance misuse. We all suffer in an ageist society. But organizations like the Colorado Gerontological Society and you, by virtue of showing up today, you're taking a stand that it doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to be an ageist society. Instead, we can be an age-inclusive society. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by age inclusive? I mean building a society that doesn't define the opportunities we have just based on how old we are, when we should go to school, when we should work, when we should stop working, but rather what we should wear, what we should look like, but rather it's turned on its head, and we build opportunities based on the interests we have, the skills we have, where we are in our family roles, what we need and what we want to be doing with our time and with our money. Do we want to keep working? Do we want to start an internship at age 65? Maybe. Do we want to start a new business at age 20? Maybe. Why don't we have opportunities to do that? I think we can build more. I want to talk a little bit more about specific opportunities I see for building up age inclusion in our society, and then I'll conclude by highlighting some work that ASA is doing. The first opportunity I see is putting age explicitly into conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. It's really made very important headway late in the past few years, and age is consistently left out of that conversation. We know ageism interacts with racism and with homophobia and with other forms of discrimination. We have to acknowledge that. We have the opportunity in front of us to talk about the benefits of a multi-generational aging society as part of a DEI conversation. Another opportunity I see is thinking about designing with and not for people, and in this case, older people. What would tech look like if it's designed by users with Parkinson's disease? What would tech look like if it's designed by a person who is retired and is starting a new venture? What would that look like compared to what it looks like when a group of 20-somethings gets around the table and builds tech based on flawed assumptions? A third opportunity I see is, when older voices who are too often excluded from conversations can be heard. This could mean something like switching our typical viewpoint. We often talk about and see images of older people only in terms of care they need, thinking about, a disease that they have, a income need that they have, what they need. But what if we switch that and think about across our life course, what we have to offer, even when we are at our most frail? What skills do we have? What capabilities do we have? What are my goals for my care, for my healing and my recovery? Switching off that lens from a dependency only lens to a more holistic lens, I think, is a big opportunity. That could also mean making space for older voices in advocacy and activism. I think about younger people listening to and following the lead of older people who have spent literal decades fighting for social justice, working on climate issues. The experience is there, and we can continue tapping into that. ASA is doing work in all of these areas. I'm very proud of it, and I wanted to highlight just a few that you might want to learn more about. First, we offer free, open to the public educational webinars. about topics like supporting our own brain health, preventing Alzheimer's, addressing social isolation through multi-general programs, designing volunteer opportunities for people with dementia. Check it out. That programming is free and open to anyone. We're hosting a week-long forum in September on the topic of age-inclusive tech design, where we'll unpack this notion of who's designing devices and apps, think about designing for the types of bodies that we have and what we're able to do versus designing based on very flawed assumptions about what someone thinks older people need and want. ASA just published an issue of Generations Journal, which is our flagship publication, on the topic of climate change and aging. The issue elevates not only the impact of climate change on older people, which is far too ignored, but it also elevates the very critical role that older people are taking on to lead climate solutions. And finally, we have a really new exciting partnership with Shutterstock, the stock photo company. They recognize the limitations in how we show portrayals of aging in our photography and videos. So we've worked together with them to curate a library of very beautiful images that showcase all the diverse realities of aging, what it looks like in diverse families, what aging in nature looks like, what it looks like when we're engaging in families and at work and walking the dog when we're old. A couple concluding thoughts. How can you be an age-inclusive ally? I think it's important for all of us. I do this still. I've been working for 20 years and I examine my words. I encourage you to examine your words, your attitudes about aging, and importantly about your own aging. Where is there internalized ageism showing up? And when you encounter ageism, it's not always easy, but stand up against it. Remember that it has real damage. It costs us money and it costs our health. And finally, take a look at how age inclusive your own life is. Are you friends with people younger and older than you? And if not, where can you find some? So just a few thoughts. I'm going to turn it back to Jen, but I'm really excited that Colorado is focusing on this issue, and I have high hopes for building an age-inclusive society.
Dr. Clark-Shirley, I always learn something new when listening to you speak. So many great takeaways and action items. Another action item that we have for you, for the attendees today, it's simply put, join us. With over 3,500 members, ASA sees its responsibility as a leader to drive the discourse and create the change necessary to respond to the need for greater inclusivity, anti-ageism, and equity, while supporting all those who work in aging and the industries that are impacted by our aging society. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to connect with you at one of ASA's future events soon. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thanks so much.
A very special thank you to the American Society on Aging in San Francisco for all the hard work they're doing in the arena of retirement. Now we're going to learn a lot more about older workers and the workforce. Many baby boomers have either stayed in the workforce or are rejoining the workforce again. Many people today work for a variety of reasons, including life satisfaction and wanting to continue to be involved and to make a difference. Other individuals have found themselves needing to work to meet daily expenses, to help with family expenses, or to make purchases they otherwise would not be able to afford. Presenting today is Bob Murphy, the Colorado State Director of AARP. Bob joined AARP in 2016, which now serves some 675,000 Colorado AARP members with a help of staff of 8 people and 200 dedicated volunteers. Their focus includes advocacy at the federal, state, and local levels, support for family caregiving, promoting a rapidly growing network of age-friendly communities. Colorado currently has 19 of them, encouraging retirement savings, increasing access to quality health care, lowering prescription drug prices, fighting to limit increases in utility rates, and working to provide more affordable housing and mobility options for older Coloradans. Bob Murphy has an extensive private and public background, including 22 years serving the residents of Lakewood, Colorado as a planning commissioner, a city council person, and as its mayor. Now we hear from Bob Murphy.
Hello to our friends at the Colorado Gerontological Society. Congratulations on your Salute to Seniors event. My name is Bob Murphy. I'm the State Director for AARP Colorado. And I appreciate the invitation to spend just a few minutes to talk about the many things that we do on behalf of older adults. And Howard specifically asked me to emphasize some of the things we do in the workforce arena, help older adults find jobs and even start new businesses. So with that, I will begin advancing the slides, assuming the technology lets me. There we go. So AARP is a partisan nonprofit membership organization, 38 million members in the United States, 670,000 right here in Colorado. We're founded in 1958 by Ethel Percy Andrus, and our motto is to serve and be served. We have a number of different entities within AARP. AARP is who I work for. We also have the foundation, which works on issues like food insecurity, et cetera. We've also recently added a couple of affiliates, Older Adult Technology Services, OATS, also known as Senior Planet, and Wish of a Lifetime, headquartered right here in Denver, Colorado. They grant wishes for older adults. Our vision is a society in which all people live with dignity and purpose and fulfill their goals and dreams. And our purpose and mission is to empower people to choose how they want to live as they age. And you can see our values there of impact, innovation, humanity, empowerment, and honesty. So what we do is, as you all know, we do advocacy at the federal and state, and indeed at the local levels. We will even go to city councils and county commissions to talk about zoning issues, affordable housing issues, mobility issues, that sort of thing. Community service. We fiercely support America's 51 million family caregivers who are doing this out of love for their loved ones, and oftentimes at severe emotional and even financial burden to themselves. We have tax aid. We do 3 million tax returns every year for people who otherwise can't afford that service. We have a driver safety program. We certainly increase volunteer opportunities at all levels through a program called Create the Good. We believe we're a trusted source of information. All of you who are members know about AARP, the magazine and the bulletin. That is the largest circulated magazine in the United States. We have a vast research department, the AARP Public Policy Institute. We have a global reach, and of course, we have many member benefits, from travel discounts to availabilities of health insurance, life insurance, that sort of thing. What we don't do, we do not do political contributions at any level. Never have, never will. Don't have a PAC. What we have, again, are 38 million members. We don't endorse candidates for political office. We don't engage in partisan politics. Indeed, the voting patterns of our 38 million members exactly mirror the voting patterns of the American electorate as a whole. Not surprising, given the size of the 38 million statistical sample there. We at our office, our state offices, don't sell insurance or get involved in the discount business, nor do we sell memberships. We do a lot of things on the advocacy front. Fighting to lower prescription drug prices. As I record this on August 8th, we have wonderful news out of the US Senate, allowing Medicare to negotiate the price of prescription drugs. That and a couple other things will lower prescription drug prices for all of us. Social Security and Medicare are very top priorities. Financial resilience, encouraging savings for retirement. We know we can't rely on Social Security, right? So we want people to begin saving early and often. We fight age discrimination in the workplace. And of course, back to that, we help older adults find jobs and or start businesses. Again, supporting family caregivers. We foster livable communities. More on that a bit later in this presentation. We support equitable access to quality, affordable health care for everyone, particularly older adults. And again, we advocate locally on issues, as I mentioned earlier, like master plans, zoning, building codes, and mobility. So a bit more on what we call work and jobs. We have a vast amount of resources on our website. The link is there on the screen, aarp.org/work/. And you can see resources related to entrepreneurship, small businesses. We have an employer pledge program in which large organizations throughout the country agree to hire older workers. We have an employer action list. We have a job board, and that rather long link is there. We have an advisor on how to put together a resume. And we also have a lot of resources devoted to building your own skills, including perhaps technology skills for a potential return to the workforce. Something that not a lot of people are familiar with is our network of age-friendly states and communities. And this was started about 8 years ago. And already we have 660 member communities throughout the country. 10 states are also members. And those states there are listed in the order of their membership. Proud to say Colorado was the third to join the network back in 2018. We have 20, and actually now 21 age-friendly communities with the addition of Elizabeth just a few days ago. But you can see the list there pretty much in order from top to bottom of the year in which that community agreed to join the age-friendly network. So what the age-friendly network is all about is encouraging policymakers like city councils, county commissions, mayors, et cetera, and stakeholders, you, me, all of us, to come together and plan the future of their community through what I call an age-friendly lens. To do that, we provide a framework for communities to begin thinking about that. We call it the 8 domains of livability, and you can see them listed there: outdoor spaces and buildings, transportation, housing, social participation, respect and social inclusion, civic participation and employment, communication and information, and community and health services. Now, a group of stakeholders can get together and decide which of these is most important for their community, or they can add something different. This is a totally flexible program. Indeed, 660 communities around the country. I would wager to say we have 660 different models. Communities can pick 3 of these, 5 of these, or as I say, even add something that's not on this list. So what is an age-friendly or livable community? We do use those terms interchangeably. It's a community that's safe and secure, has affordable and appropriate housing and transportation options, and has supportive community features and services. Once in place, those resources enhance personal independence, allow residents to age in place, and 85% of us who live in Colorado say we want to age in place in the community we call home. We want to foster residents' engagement in the community's civic, economic, and social life. So this is another one of our mottos around our age-friendly planning. 1 in 3 Americans currently is age 50 or older. Is your community currently livable for people of all ages, not just older adults, but all ages? And of course, as we all know, by 2030, 1 out of every 5 people in the United States will be 65 or older. And we ask all those communities, towns, cities, and counties throughout the state, will you be ready? So with that, I once again appreciate the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you talking about AARP. And we are partners with CGS in advocacy, particularly when the legislature is in session. We all work together for the betterment of older adults in our state and in the nation. Thanks so much. Appreciate the opportunity once again.
Hi, I'm Spencer Thomas with Colorado's very own Channel 2 and Great Day Colorado. On behalf of our station, I want to thank all of you for attending this year's Salute the Seniors event, a special occasion Channel 2 is proud to be sponsoring in 2022. The Colorado Gerontological Society serves the community by providing families and individuals with a wealth of information and, of course, resources to help them make informed decisions when it comes to aging. This event serves as an educational opportunity, providing new insights on retirement, new technology to help people age in place, and so much more. Take advantage of all of the information given by the Colorado Gerontological Society and begin to plan for your future. Have a blast playing trivia with new friends and get the chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card in the Salute the Seniors special prize giveaway. The 33rd annual Salute the Seniors virtual event is on August 12th and 13th. The future of aging.
Welcome, Salute to Seniors attendees. I'm Robert Tremblay, CEO and publisher with 50 Plus Media Solutions. I want to tell you about our monthly 50 Plus Marketplace newspaper. Here's Marty to tell you more.
We have been delivering our newspapers since 1991 to over 100 cities across the Front Range in northern Colorado. They include the Denver Metro, Boulder, Larimer, and Weld County editions. Our monthly newspaper includes popular columns on aging, business, genealogy, medical, pets, reflections, social security, technology, and travel. We also include local and national lifestyle news besides local events. You can pick up a free copy at most libraries, retirement villages, senior centers, and selected medical facilities, or you can visit our website at www.50plus.news and our Facebook page to see our digital editions and videos too. We hope you enjoy the Salute to Senior show.
Bob, for sharing the AARP insights and helping us to understand how older adults continue to be involved in the workforce. Now we're going to enjoy one of Colorado's #1 treasures, the Forney Museum of Transportation. Haven't been there, you gotta go. The Forney Museum of Transportation is a one-of-a-kind collection of over 800 artifacts relating to historical transportation. It began 67 years ago with a single 1921 Kissel, but soon expanded to include vehicles of all kinds. The collection highlights include the Union Pacific Big Boy steam locomotive number 4005, Amelia Earhart's 1923 Kissel Goldberg, Forney locomotive, Colorado and Southern Caboose, 1923 Hispano Suiza, a 1913-53 Indian motorcycle collection, the Denver and Rio Grande dining car, Stutz fire engine, an 1888 Denver cable car, a 1923 K-Steam tractor, an 1817 Draisine bicycle, a 500-piece matchbox collection of cars. Wow. Talking about some good stuff. Let's take a look.
This is a 1923 Goldbug Kissel. This car actually belonged to Amelia Earhart. She bought this Kissel in 1924 to drive her mother and herself from California to Boston, sightseeing in Sequoia, Yosemite, Banff, and Lake Louise in Canada, and Glacier Park. Amelia's friends nicknamed this car the Yellow Peril because of Amelia's love for speed and driving style. This car changed owners multiple times and ended up in disrepair. Extensive restoration was performed before this car was acquired by the Forney Collection in 1961. As you can see, the mother-in-law seats on the side would have been for her passengers. This is a 1923 Hispano Suiza H6A. This was a Spanish company with a Swiss engineer, Mark Burkitsch. I don't know if that's right. The name literally translates as Spanish Swiss. It had 2 manufacturing centers, one in Barcelona and one in Paris. The Paris one put out more luxurious models. The company and their engineers switched to airplane engines during World War I, which translated to more powerful engines after the war and the best 4-wheel brakes in the world at the time. This car was manufactured in Barcelona and was ordered by a king who was dethroned before it was finished. It was then bought by a director, D.W. Griffith, who used it in several movies. First seen in My Lips Betray, this car appeared in multiple Hollywood productions and went through many alterations and body modifications. Most notably, the top was cut off, a second set of rear wheels were added, and the fenders were changed to make it look more like a military vehicle. This is a 1921 Nera car. The name is a play on the owner's name, which was Carl A. Neracher. Nera car produced 10,000 motorcycles, but this is the only three-wheeled bike in existence. This is a one-cylinder, two-stroke engine with 13.5 horsepower that originally sold for $270. Edwin G. Cannonball Baker drove a Nera car across the country in 1922. It took 174 hours and 1 minute and only cost $15.70 in gas. We're coming up on a 1927 Rolls-Royce, also known as the New Phantom or the Phantom One. The custom body for this vehicle was made by the coach company Baker & Company. The hood and wheels were originally gold-plated. The car has only 24,000 miles. You can see how the doors open, and a second set of seats can be folded away to allow for a lot of legroom. The engines were powerful and provided a smooth, comfortable ride. The engines were marvels of their times. Instead of change, the timing and ignition drive were both run by gears. This also made the ride quiet enough for conversation. This is a 1927 Ford Model T four-door sedan. The Rolls-Royce and the Hispano-Suiza were considered the most luxurious cars in the 1920s, but now we're going to talk about the most versatile cars of the day. This is the last year the Model T was produced, and only 22,930 four-door sedans were built that year, spelled F-O-R-D-O-R. The owner of this vehicle bought it in 1977 and restored it to a beautiful Drake green. This represents the most extensive design change since 1970. This is on display thanks to the generosity of Dana and Rick Holdaway of Arvada, Colorado. Do you want to honk it? This here is a 1921 Ford Model T track car. If you look at the wheels, you will notice this car was modified to travel on railroad tracks. It was used to inspect and repair the Colorado and Southern Railroad between Breckenridge and Cuomo, Colorado. Originally bought for spare parts, the owner soon realized the rarity of this vehicle and preserved it in the condition it was found. This is on display thanks to the generosity of Amanda and Brett Holdaway of Commerce City, Colorado. This is a 1924 Model T Racer. The stock body of the Model T was placed on a chassis that was 6 inches lower than normal. Multiple mechanical changes were made to make it faster and better climbing hills. The windshield was cut down and slanted, and the stock tires were replaced by 21-inch Ford wire wheels. This is on display thanks to the generosity of Ted Bowen of Idledale, Colorado. Now we are looking at a 1922 Ford Model T depot hack. These would also be known as station wagons because they were used to transport people to and from train depots or stations. This is on display thanks to the generosity of Larry Derlin of Commerce City, Colorado. This is a 1925 Ford Model T fire engine. It was originally purchased as a basic Model T truck chassis and was modified for use as a fire engine in 1925. This is on display thanks to the generosity of Sharon and Jim Lightfoot. Now we're going to switch it up again. We're going to look at two white cars. That is the 1925 white model 1545. This is an 11-passenger tourist bus, which used in Glacier National Park in the 1920s and 1930s. It has a top speed of 35 miles per hour. All of these were retired by 1941 and replaced with a newer version. These are 1927 Ford Model TT trucks. So it is a similar chassis and body to the Ford Model T, but has stronger suspension and a larger engine. Here is our next white car. It's a 1925 Chevron tank truck. It was used by the Murphy Oil Company, which later became the Chevron Company. After its time on active duty, it was retired and used for promotions like parades and other events. It was used by the company for over 75 years before being donated to the Forney Museum. Coming up on the 1927 Henderson. In 1917, Nass Swing of Swing Bicycle fame purchased the Henderson Motorcycle Company, and by 1923 they were setting speed records. The largest and fastest of the time, they were favored by patrol officers. And next to it we have a 1925 Harley-Davidson JD. By this time, they had made a lot of stylistic changes, including a lower seat and more rounded fuel tank, but the only color they produced was known as drab olive. We are coming up on a 1928 Indian Scout. As you can see, they were typically red. We're looking at a model 101. This was used for stunt driving. This type of motorcycle is still used today for wall of death stunts. The leather seat and suspension was considered one of the best of its day. And last but not least is the 1923 Case steam traction engine. This steam-powered engine had 65 horsepower. It had a top speed of 2.4 miles per hour and could burn coal, wood, or straw. The engine could be used to pull the largest case thresher, a 6 to 8 bottom plow, a heavy road grader, or can be transformed into a road roller.
Thank you for visiting us today at the Forney Museum of Transportation. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon.
We have seen the stress during the pandemic on individuals pursuing their path to recovery. Rally Colorado has educated communities across our state about the importance of practicing safe disposal.
If you share ideas, you share resources, and you work around an evidence-based model or strategy, you get so much more done.
We just feel really, really lucky that this collaboration came together. It just shows that when we all work together, amazing things happen.
I'm so glad that Raleigh, Colorado has convened us here today to have these very important conversations.
About 25% of LGBTQ folks indicate they have a substance use disorder.
Bringing this awareness and having these conversations and really normalizing and humanizing what substance misuse looks like is so important.
For any of our folks viewing today who may be struggling with mental health or behavioral health issues, I'm here to tell you that there are people that care. There's resources available, and just know that you're not alone.
Crossroads Senior Living salutes our seniors, the very people who make Crossroads what it is, a place to call home. A place for peace of mind senior living. One of our residents, Roger Wilson, says it best.
The way people cared about you, and that's from the top person, Michelle, all the way down to the caregivers. You know, it made it easier for us because everybody cared and wanted us to be happy, and that happened. I mean, and I'm not saying that just because I'm talking to you. I'm saying it because it is for real. And that's what makes it. The people here are honest people that want to do the job to make everybody happy. And that's the most important thing.
Learn more at crossroadsalc.org. Crossroads, peace of mind senior living.
All right, the fun time of the afternoon. Oh, it's entertainment time, that is for sure. It is my privilege to introduce the entertainment to you this afternoon. They are the Mighty Quins. The Mighty Quins will perform a tribute of songs, music, and spiritual connection of John Denver. Audiences everywhere have been thrilled and absolutely delighted to hear John Denver's music presented with the integrity of the intended message John has always wanted. Playing guitars, mandolin, percussion, and bass, the Quins present a fully energized performance evocative of Denver's live concerts, and the entire band also sings. The chamber music talent and influences of the band members allow a performance true to the messages of understanding and reverence for the earth and environment, which made John Denver's music so special. Performing with the Mighty Quins this afternoon are Bruce Webb, John Hoover, Dick Sorensen, and James Maltos. Their work is inspired by John Denver, the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and others. Let's enjoy the Mighty Quins.
almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountain, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road, play it, Bruce. I hear her voice in the morning hour, she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down that road I get a feeling I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, country roads, take me home to the place that I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads. He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. Left yesterday behind him, you might say he was born again. Might say he'd found the key for every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, on the road, hanging by a song. But the string's already broken and he doesn't really care. Keeps changing fast, it don't last for long. The Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Shadows from the starlight, softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, clouds below. Saw everything as far as you can see. And they say that he got crazy once and he tried to touch the sun. He lost a friend but kept the memory. Now he walks in quiet solitude, the forests and the streams, seeking grace in every step he takes. His sight is turned inside himself to try and understand the serenity of a clear blue mountain lake. In the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Talk to God, listen to the casual reply. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Now his life is full of wonder, but his heart still knows some fear of a simple thing he cannot comprehend. Why they try to tear the mountains down to bring in a couple more people, more scars upon the land. In the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Never be a poor man if you never saw an eagle fly. Rocky Mountain High, well, it's a Colorado Rocky Mountain High. I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Friends around the campfire, and everybody's high. Rocky Mountain High, Rocky Mountain High, Rocky Mountain High, Colorado, Rocky Mountain High, Colorado, Rocky Mountain High, Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. James Maltos.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
Mr. Dick Sorensen. Mr. Bruce Webb. John Hoover and the Mighty Quins. And shout out to Tacoma Public Schools and Truman Middle School, where I teach. Stay safe.